Good evening. You're watching the Mello TV News Brief. I'm Javon Thomas, and here are the top stories making the headline at this hour. Prime Minister reaffirms Jamaica's commitment to climate change action at UN Summit. COJ reports increase in new company registrations, focuses on fraud prevention, and East Kingston Police list wanted man. And now the details. Prime Minister the Most Honorable Dr. Andrew Holness, speaking at the United Nations General Assembly Climate Summit yesterday, emphasized that for Jamaica and other small island developing states, climate change is not a distant threat, but a daily reality.
Climate change is an existential threat to both the livelihoods and environments of communities worldwide, but disproportionately so to SIDS and LDCs. Sobering reports and assessments globally of the current state of the climate have increased the necessity for enhanced adaptation and mitigation measures to confront the challenges and bolster resilience. In Jamaica, the nation is contending with intensifying adverse effects of climate change. Droughts, floods, tropical storms, and hurricanes have already impeded Jamaica's development. 90% of our GDP is generated in close proximity to coastal regions. Robust adaptation measures are not merely preferable, but are imperative.
In his address, Dr. Holness highlighted Jamaica's progress in climate leadership over the past decade, noting the country's strengthened efforts in tackling the climate crisis.
Over the past decade, Jamaica has made steady progress in climate action, yet, as we know, global climate ambition remains below what is required, and countries like ours must lead with both credibility and innovation. Jamaica's journey with our nationally determined contributions reflect this leadership. Our first NDC focused primarily on the energy sector, targeting up to a 10% reduction in emissions. By 2020, Jamaica became the first Caribbean nation and the 11th globally to submit an updated NDC, increasing our ambition with targets of 25.4% unconditionally and 28% conditionally by 2030. We have also broadened our scope to include forestry and land use change, further strengthening our climate leadership. I am proud to announce that Jamaica submitted its further updated NDC 3.0, which is both comprehensive and realistic, and further aligns our ambitions with action.
He also shared plans to scale up renewable energy projects and enhance energy efficiency, particularly within the water sector, a critical area impacted by climate change.
Jamaica's targets are anchored in existing policies and supported by political will. Key highlights of our NDC include a broader push for renewable electricity, energy efficiency in the water sector, and electric vehicle adoption, targeting 12% of private fleets and 16% of public fleets by 2030. Decarbonization in the cement industry by 40 kilotons of CO2, and zero net loss of forests, along with mangroves and seagrass restoration. Excellencies, by 2035, Jamaica aims for emission reductions between 26% and 41.7% compared to 2012 levels, depending on the scale of international support received.
Meanwhile, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, in his remarks, reinforced the urgency of climate action, calling it an essential global priority.
As we have just heard, it is still possible to limit global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees by century's end. We know what permanently breaching that limit would mean for people and planet. The science compels climate action, so does the economics. Clean energy is powering jobs, growth and sustainable development, generating the fastest and cheapest electricity, insulating economies from volatile fossil fuel markets, providing energy security and sovereignty, and helping to deliver clean and affordable energy for all. Despite vast fossil fuel subsidies distorting markets, clean energy received double the investment of fossil fuels last year. The bottom line, clean is competitive and climate action is imperative.
CEO of the Companies Office of Jamaica, COJ, Shelley Leon, speaking at this week's press conference hosted by the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, reported a rise in the registration of new companies across the island.
Definitely have seen a growth in terms of registration of companies and registration of businesses. We have seen an increase in the service industry. We've seen an increase in terms of IT services, general merchandise, construction. So these are some of the growth areas that we see.
Ms. Leon also emphasized that the COJ is prioritizing the monitoring of dormant companies with the same level of scrutiny as active ones, as part of a broader strategy to combat fraud and strengthen corporate compliance.
So, in regard to, as the COJ strengthens its anti-money laundering framework, we monitor both active and inactive companies. And as such, in very short order, we are going to be doing a massive cleanup of our registers, because some dormant companies, we are finding that even though they don't make returns, they don't have an actual office that they operate from, some of them might have property. And so we're cooperating with, for example, the National Land Agency, because these dormant companies, they are a gateway for fraud to be committed. So there are persons who find out that the companies are dormant, make certain changes, they take people's property, etc. So we monitor both dormant and active, and we are working with other partners in that effort.
In other news, the Kingston Eastern Police have listed Dave Edwards as wanted in the division. The police believe Edwards is able to assist them in investigations as it relates to the murder of a man on Mountain View Avenue, Kingston 3 on Wednesday, September 17. Edwards is being urged to report to the Electoral Road Criminal Investigation Branch, CIB, immediately. Meanwhile, the police are appealing to anyone with information on the whereabouts of Dave Edwards to contact the Electoral Road CIB at 876-928-4200, 119 police emergency number, Crime Stop at 311, or the nearest police station. Meanwhile, the St. Anne Police have listed Jordan Hyde, otherwise called Tupac, of Windsor Heights, Marley, St. Anne's Bay in St. Anne, as a person of interest. The police say they believe Hyde can assist them with an ongoing investigation into several incidents in the parish. Hyde is being urged to turn himself into the police immediately. Jordan Hyde, or anyone knowing his whereabouts, is asked to contact the St. Anne's Bay Criminal Investigation Branch at 876-972-2211, the National Intelligence Bureau tip line at 811, Crime Stop at 311, the 119 police emergency number, or the nearest police station. The Electoral Office of Jamaica, EOJ, is reminding the public that the deadline to apply for the upcoming voters list is Tuesday, September 30. Individuals who successfully register will be added to the updated list to be published on November 30, 2025. In a release, the EOJ said that eligible persons are required to apply in person at any EOJ constituency office between the hours of 8:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. on Mondays to Thursdays and between 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. on Fridays. The release also added that applicants submitted after September 30 will be processed for the subsequent publication of the voters list, scheduled for May 31, 2026. Persons already on the voters list are reminded not to reapply. The voters list is updated and published each year on May 31 and November 30. From the Mello TV News Center, I am Javon Thomas. Good evening.